We're looking at the guided notes for chapter 2.4. A couple of other forms of a linear equation. And the first one we're going to take a look at is the slope-intercept form of a line. This is the one you know. This is your y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. Okay, so here, write the equation of a line with a slope of -3 and a y-intercept of 0, 4. So here I know that my m value is -3 and my b value is going to be 4. So that tells me my y equals -3x plus 4. That wasn't very difficult. Okay, so here, the point slope form of a line, where the point x1, y1 is a point, and m again is just the slope. So you need a point and you need a slope, and then you could use the point slope form. So the example asks us to write the equation of a line with a slope of 4/3 through the point -3, 5. Again, this is my x value of -3, my y value of 5. So y is just y, so it's going to be y minus, and then I want to use these parentheses because sometimes negatives can trip us up. And that's equal to my slope, which is 4/3 times x minus, and again with our parentheses, -3. Okay, so on this here, what I want to do is I want to distribute my slope to both the x and, well, which is ultimately a +3. So I get y minus 5 equals, we have 4/3 x, and now this is going to be 4/3 times 3. Well, let's try that over here on some scratch work. 4/3 times 3/1. Well, my 3's are going to cancel. That's great. So 4 times 1 is 1. Okay, so it's plus 4. Sorry, I had to do some head math there, and I'm not real... If you noticed by now, I can't add and subtract, multiply, and divide real quick, so I apologize for that. So now the only thing left to do is to add 5 to both sides so that we can get this into slope-intercept form. So we add 5 to both sides, plus 5, and we get y equals 4/3 x plus 9. And that would be my final answer here. All right, so one concept that we should know really well, and I want to really dive into this one because there's going to be some really neat problems that we can do with just a little bit of knowledge. So the slope of two lines that are parallel have the same slope. And now the slope of perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slope. So this is going to be opposite, reciprocal slope. I didn't leave myself enough space there. But what does this mean? Well, the opposite means if it was positive, now it's negative. If it was negative, now it's positive. And that would make sense. A positive slope goes this way, and in order for something to be perpendicular, it would definitely have to be negative. In other words, when two lines are perpendicular, they meet at a 90-degree angle. So it at least has to be, one has to be negative and the other one has to be positive in order for us to have the opposite reciprocal slope. So that takes care of the in order for us to have perpendicular lines, excuse me. So that takes care of the opposite part. In order for it to be the reciprocal, that just means we flip the fraction. So here, opposite flipped fraction is maybe another way of thinking about this. Okay? Now, let's test this out. So find parallel and perpendicular slopes for the following. Okay, so if m equals 2/3, then the parallel slope, and I'm going to denote parallel with these two straight up and down bars. Parallel slope would be, well, 2/3. The slope stays the same. And for perpendicular, I'm going to do this little upside down t. It stands for perpendicular. So the perpendicular slope would be negative, started positive, now it's negative, negative 3 halves. All I did was take the negative and flip the fraction. So let's try that out with this one. So for the parallel slope, my parallel slope is, well, negative 1/5. And now my perpendicular slope is, well, a negative goes to positive, and 5 goes on the numerator, 1 goes on the denominator, so positive, just positive 5. And that's it. So I want you to try the other two on your own. All right, so now it wants us to write an equation of a line that is parallel. Well, let's underline that word. That's got to be important. To y equals 2/3 x minus 1, which is in that slope-intercept form, right, where y equals mx plus b, mx plus b, and it goes through the point 12, negative 3. Well, I don't know my y-intercept, but I can determine the slope of the new line that has it's parallel here, and it goes through that point. So my new slope, since it's parallel, must have the same slope as this line. And remember, m is slope, so the slope of this line is 2/3, so the slope of my new line is going to be 2/3. And it's going to go through the point 12, negative 3. So through the point 12, negative 3. Okay, so what do I know that involves a point and slope? Well, that'd be the point-slope formula. So here we have y minus negative 3 equals m, which is 2/3, times x minus 12. And now I can simplify this here, so I get y plus 3 equals, and I'm going to distribute my 2/3 to the x and the negative 12. So I get 2/3 x, and here I'm going to do just some scratch work right quick. Call it scratch. Just like I did on the other problem, I want to know what 2/3 times negative 12 is. Well, at least I know it's negative, so that handles that part. And the 12 divided by 3 leaves me 1 on the denominator and a 4 in my numerator. And across the top, I end up with 8. And across the bottom, 1 times 1 is 1, so I don't need to write that part as the fraction here. And to simplify just one more step to get it into slope-intercept form and combine all my like terms, I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides, which leaves me with y equals 2/3 x minus 11. So this is the equation of the line that is parallel to y equals 2/3 x minus 1 and goes to the point 12, negative 3. Not too bad. All right, so the homework for this section, our homework set, and you guys like knowing the page number. I tell you what, the page number is the one that corresponds to the section. We're in 2.4. So let's go take a look here. All right. Alright, so I'm going to do 3 through... Let's do 3 through 24 thirds. And... I want to do 30 through 32. Oh, again, it's a page, oh, whatever. Starts on page 86, so page 86.